The case of the hourly IT workers. I worked in IT at a large, non-technical company. As is normal in IT, there were crises, patches and new software installs where it was all hands on deck for 16 hours. And other times when everything was humming along and there was not a lot of work to do. Old boss understood this well. When we had to work late into the evening, he was fine with us coming in late the next day, leaving early, or even if a couple people didn't come in at all, as long as we rotated who got to stay home so that there was some coverage. We were all salaried exempt, but overall, the hours were fair despite the occasional very long days. New boss comes in from a non-IT background and sees this system and decides everyone will be hourly. And, worse, work set hours. If we were 10 minutes late, we had to use 10 minutes of PTO or be docked pay for the time. Rather than just staying 10 minutes late, he also declared there would be 0 overtime. This worked for about a week. It was slow and the people who would normally leave an hour early had to just sit at their desks and wait to clock out. Then the first major system issue happened where the email server crashed. We all punched out at 5 and went home. System stayed down until the following morning. Well, Big Boss comes down and wants to know why it took so long to bring the email system back and how it hurt the business. New boss mumbles something about no staffing in the evening. Big boss says it's never been a problem before. New boss tells us. From that point on, when something breaks we stay to fix it. Overtime starts piling up. Bis boss asks about budget. Several of us on the team decide to be brave and tell Big Boss what's going on and ask if things could just return to the way they were. Shortly after, an email is sent out saying new boss has decided to leave to take on another opportunity, i.e., was fired, and that the IT department was returning to salary exempt. Love that line in emails, looking forward to other opportunities. Sacked. Looking to expand his horizons outside 4X. Didn't get that role they were covering and new person wants them gone. Good. New boss wants to change everything to run his way. He can do it elsewhere. With a team he's hired and trained himself. Props to you and your team. Ah, here's a perfectly functioning system. Let's make it more betterer. Long ago I worked at a global German company as a software engineer. Our platform had the distinction of being the best of all the subsidiaries. We worked hard over years to make it the smoothest running site of all our sister companies. Serious bragging rights. We get a new boss. Decides that we are running so well that we should then start running the other subsidiaries with our staff. We didn't sign up to take over multiple companies for the same pay. Us key workers quit and new hires had zero clue how to do their job. A couple weeks later I receive a phone call from my ex-boss's boss. The CFO, very powerful guy in the company who I was friendly with, asked me what it would take to hire me as back. I told him, fire less than ex-boss. Some friends still in the company reported back to us that our ex-boss told the CFO that he will quit if we are brought back, so the status quo continued. Fast forward. New folks quit. Couldn't handle pressure. Ex-boss was fired for incompetence. Entire system that was number one fell into shambles and couldn't run company reliably. Subsidiary eventually shut down and disappears. Ex-boss vanished into obscurity. Don't take advantage of your key employees. If you think they're expendable, so are you. This is why you hire from within and preferably from the team that needs the leadership. Keeps things running smoothly. I like hearing happy endings. Also work in IT, and unfortunately a good or bad IT boss tends to be the determining factor of whether your job or work environment will be complete hell. If you get a good IT boss, manager, Then treat them well because there are only a few of them. Need to cross-post to our tales from tech support. That was a nice spin. When they say SO and SO sup manager is no longer with the company, we know they were fired. Instead of leaving on their own. All you had to do is let the problem point itself out. Just as an aside, was this company really small? Every place I've ever worked being salaried couldn't be changed easily or at all. Certainly in a longer timeline than a year. If you were wage you could be promoted to a salaried position. But aside from a personal demotion, how do you make someone salaried hourly again? Usually HR would stomp that hard for their own sanity. I will say, I have worked IT before where I was hourly. And they did it well. Sure, we couldn't just leave an hour early on a whim. But they also worked hard to minimize after-hours work. And if it was required, that we were compensated for it. Welcome to how all the hourly workers lives. Jump equals how high.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.